Every morning across North America, millions of people reach for what they believe is a responsible choice. It sits in a brightly colored wrapper, prominently displaying words like whole grain, plant protein, real fruit, and zero artificial flavors. It is sold in grocery aisles, designated for health and wellness, sitting right next to supplements and vitamins. Parents pack them in school lunchboxes, runners eat them before a marathon, and busy professionals keep them in desk drawers to avoid fast food. We have been sold a modern narrative that these convenient packaged bars are the ultimate fuel for a healthy life. But if you turn that wrapper over and look past the carefully crafted marketing phrases, a very different picture emerges. Inside many of these modern wellness staples lies a complex chemical formulation designed by food scientists to target your brain's pleasure. Centers in the exact same way a standard chocolate bar does. Behind the wholesome green leaf logos and rustic craft paper packaging sits a multi-billion-dollar industrial machinery that excels at renaming sugar, isolating cheap proteins, and stripping away natural fiber while charging premium health food prices. Over the past 6 months, we examined dozens of the most popular snack bars on supermarket shelves. We analyzed their ingredient declarations, cross-referenced their nutritional profiles against standard confectionery, and mapped out the corporate webs behind these iconic brands. What we uncovered is a systemic illusion where candy has successfully rebranded itself as health food, hiding in plain sight on grocery shelves nationwide. Our investigation begins with bar number 12, a brand built on the image of rugged outdoor endurance and rustic adventure. Decades ago, this product was born in a home kitchen as a wholesome, dense energy source for long-distance cyclists. Consumers built an emotional connection with the brand, associating it with mountain trails, physical performance, and pure ingredients. But as the brand scaled to meet corporate distribution demands, the formula underwent a quiet transformation. Today, a single bar can pack over 20 grams of added sugar, equivalent to 5 full teaspoons of granulated sugar, often sourced from brown rice syrup. While brown rice syrup sounds natural, it has a high glycemic impact, breaking down rapidly into glucose, paired with soy protein isolate rather than whole food protein sources. This outdoorsy icon often delivers a blood sugar spike comparable to a traditional chocolate bar, wrapped in the imagery of mountain peaks. Moving to bar number 11, we find a product that built its entire identity around the promise of simple, visible ingredients. The brand gained immense popularity by showing real nuts and dried fruit right through a clear plastic wrapper, reassuring consumers that what they saw was what they got. For years, buyers willingly paid a higher price point, believing they were choosing an unadulterated nut snack. However, as corporate ownership shifted to one of the world's largest confectionery conglomerates, variations of these bars began incorporating thick coatings on the bottom and sweet drizzles across the top. These coatings are rarely made of true dark chocolate. Instead, they are often constructed using fractionated palm kernel oil, sugar, and cocoa powder. By combining isolated fats with added sugars, the nutritional profile shifts dramatically from a simple trail mix replacement into a calorie-dense confection masked by whole almonds. Bar number 10 takes us directly into the realm of mainstream breakfast staples. Marketed as a smart alternative for busy mornings, this bar relies heavily on nostalgia and family trust. Generous claims of whole grain oats dominate the front of the box, reassuring parents that they are providing genuine morning sustenance for their children. But a closer look at the fine print reveals that the whole oats are held together by a sticky matrix of corn syrup, sugar, fructose, and inverted sugar. In fact, many varieties of this classic bar contain 3 to 4 distinct types of sugar listed, under different names across the ingredient panel. When sugar appears multiple times in a single product, it prevents any single sweetener from appearing as the primary ingredient on the label, creating a legal structural illusion for the everyday shopper. At number 9, we encounter a product explicitly created for weight management and dietary control. For over 2 decades, this brand has marketed itself as a guilt-free secret weapon for individuals trying to manage their daily intake. The front packaging proudly displays single-digit net carb numbers and double-digit fiber counts, enticing consumers who track their macronutrients closely. To achieve these numbers, the manufacturer relies heavily on synthetic soluble corn fibers and artificial sweeteners. While these ingredients technically allow the brand to subtract grams from the total carb count on paper, independent digestive research shows that highly processed synthetic fibers do not interact with the human body the same way natural fiber from vegetables and whole foods does. Furthermore, the inclusion of sugar alcohols can cause gastrointestinal discomfort, leaving consumers with a product that behaves far more like a laboratory creation than a nourishing food source. Bar number 8 targets the high-performance fitness community. Advertised as a heavy-duty workout fuel, this oversized bar promises a massive payload of muscle-building protein. Fitness enthusiasts and athletes buy them by the box, assuming the high protein content justifies the density of the bar. But to make 20 or 30 grams of isolated protein palatable, manufacturers often load the bar with saturated fats from hydrogenated oils and immense quantities of high-fructose corn syrup or sugar alcohols. A single serving can contain well over 400 calories and over 30 grams of sugar, rivaling the nutritional density of a fast food dessert. The reputation was built on athletic performance, but the reality inside the wrapper is an ultra-processed confection designed to shelf-stabilize isolate powders. Number 7 represents a brand that positioned itself as the minimalist savior of the snack aisle. Its entire marketing campaign was built on transparency, printing the 4 or 5 basic ingredients directly on the front of the pack in bold type. Consumers felt an immediate sense of relief, believing they had finally found a bar with 0 hidden catches. Yet, while the ingredient list remains admirably short, the primary base ingredient is often dates. Dates are undoubtedly a whole fruit, but they are also exceptionally concentrated in intrinsic sugars. A single small bar can easily contain over 15 to 18 grams of sugar, while these naturally occurring sugars come with some fruit fiber. Consuming them in a concentrated paste delivers a rapid influx of carbohydrate energy without the balancing bulk of raw whole fruit, proving that minimal ingredients do not automatically equal low sugar consumption. Bar number 6 claims to be the ultimate fiber solution for the average consumer who falls short of their daily dietary requirements. Promoted through humorous television commercials and colorful packaging, it promises a delicious way to meet your daily digestive goals. The trick here lies in the heavy reliance on isolated chicory root extract, also known as inulin. Inulin allows manufacturers to boost the fiber metric on the nutrition facts panel dramatically without adding bulk or altering taste negatively. However, this isolated fiber is combined with enriched flour, palm oil, and sugar coatings. The result is essentially a soft-baked pastry square disguised as a dietary supplement, where the benefit of added fiber is offset by the presence of ultra-processed bakery ingredients. At number 5, we find a product specifically engineered for women's nutrition, framed around wellness, energy, and hormonal support. The soft pastel packaging and uplifting messaging conveys a sense of curated healthcare. Yet, when analyzing the underlying formula, the main structural components are soy protein isolates, white rice flour, and organic brown rice syrup. Despite the sophisticated lifestyle branding, the biological response to digested rice syrup and processed soy Krispies is functionally identical to eating a processed flour pastry sweetened with cane sugar. The marketing earns emotional trust, but the physical label reveals a standard confectionery blueprint. Bar number 4 is a classic crisp rice treat modified to appear as a high-protein daily snack. Originally marketed as a light, fun treat for children, modern variations have added protein, Krispies, and compound coatings to target adult gym-goers by adding milk, protein isolate to a base of puffed rice and syrup. The brand charges twice the price of its traditional cereal counterpart. The final product offers minimal real food nutritional value, relying on refined starches and added sweeteners to deliver a texture that mimics a dessert while hiding behind a sports nutrition label. Number 3 brings us to the low-carb keto movement. as millions of consumers shifted toward low-carbohydrate diets. Manufacturers rushed to reformulate snack bars to meet this high-margin demand. These bars rely on isolated fats like palm oil, shea butter, and collagen peptides, bound together with polyols and non-nutritive sweeteners, while they technically fit within strict carbohydrate limits. The extreme degree of industrial processing leaves them devoid of meaningful micronutrients. Consumers are effectively eating an emulsion of isolated fats and artificial flavorings designed in a lab to simulate a sweet treat without triggering. A standard glucose meter, raising questions about long-term dietary quality versus mere macro tracking. Bar number 2 is an iconic meal replacement bar that has graced pharmacy shelves for generations. Used extensively by people seeking quick weight loss or clinical nutrition solutions, it carries an inherent medical authority. However, the first 3 ingredients on many of these classic formulations are soy protein isolate, sugar, and corn syrup, followed closely by vegetable oils. Despite being fortified with a long list of synthetic vitamins and minerals to satisfy regulatory meal replacement standards, the core energy matrix is built on the same refined sugars and oils used in basic candy manufacturing. Finally, bar number 1 represents the ultimate triumph of deceptive health marketing in the modern era. This product line commands premium shelf space by claiming to be a raw, green superfood energy bar. It uses terms like cold-pressed, non-GMO, and artisanal to justify a high retail price. Yet, detailed laboratory testing and label analysis reveal that the primary driver of calorie density in these bars is a combination of concentrated fruit pastes, agave nectar, and tapioca syrup. Agave nectar, often perceived by consumers as a natural alternative to refined sugar, is composed of up to 85% fructose, which is processed primarily by the liver. By combining multiple concentrated fructose sources into a dense paste, the product delivers a higher fructose load per serving than many standard carbonated sodas, representing the ultimate paradox of luxury health food packaging. Having examined the systemic illusions dominant in the snack bar aisle, it becomes essential to look at the rare exceptions. Not every company relies on synthetic fillers, hidden sugars, and deceptive label architecture. Through our investigation, 3 distinct products demonstrated a commitment to true ingredient integrity, radical supply chain transparency, and responsible nutrition. The first standout product comes from a small-scale manufacturer that built its reputation on unsweetened whole food sourcing. Instead of relying on isolated protein powders, rice syrups, or palm oils, this bar uses a base of whole sprouted nuts, seeds, and minimal dried fruit. They refuse to use fractionated oils or flavor coatings, meaning the shelf life is shorter. But the nutritional integrity remains uncompromised. The total sugar count remains low, derived exclusively from whole food sources accompanied by intact natural fiber. Furthermore, the company publishes independent third-party testing for heavy metals and pesticides directly on their public website, establishing a rare benchmark for corporate transparency. The second exceptional product comes from an organic manufacturer focused strictly on savory profiles. Recognizing that the fundamental issue with most snack bars is the reliance on sweet flavor vectors, this brand completely abandoned sweet syrups, dates, and sugar alcohols. Instead, they construct their bars using organic pumpkin seeds, grass-fed bison, and natural spices. By eliminating added sweeteners entirely, the bar delivers sustained energy through clean proteins and naturally occurring healthy fats, avoiding the blood sugar volatility associated with traditional sweet bars. Their supply chain is fully traceable back to regenerative agricultural farms, providing proof that convenience food can support both human health and land stewardship. The third top-performing product targets the active sports market without relying on ultra-processed isolates. This manufacturer utilizes whole pumpkin seed protein and egg whites as their primary protein sources, bound together solely with whole ground nut butter and organic cocoa. There are no synthetic fibers, no sugar alcohols, and no hidden fructose syrups. Every ingredient listed on the label is a recognizable food item that could be purchased in a standard produce or bulk section. The brand clear-cut labels display exactly where each component was sourced, proving that convenient, high-protein nutrition does not require food chemistry tricks. When navigating the modern grocery store, the responsibility ultimately falls on the consumer to look beyond the front of the package. Front-of-pack claims like natural high-protein, zero sugar, and keto-friendly are unregulated marketing instruments designed to trigger emotional buying decisions. True nutritional evaluation requires turning the box around and reading the ingredient list from start to finish. If the first three ingredients include syrups, isolates, or fractionated oils, the product is functionally a candy bar in disguise, regardless of how much green packaging or sports imagery is used. Pay close attention to the order of ingredients as they are listed by weight. Look for whole food sources at the very top of the list, such as whole nuts, seeds, and unrefined grains. Be skeptical of products that list 4 or 5 different sweeteners under varied names, as this is a common tactic to dilute the apparent presence of sugar on the label. Avoid heavy reliance on synthetic fibers like soluble corn fiber or isolated chicory root if you are seeking real, gut-supportive nutrition. Real health is built on whole, minimally processed foods, and no amount of clever marketing can turn industrial sugar paste into genuine wellness. As you walk down the snack aisle on your next trip to the store, take a moment to flip the wrapper and read the reality behind the promises. If you found this investigation insightful, share it with someone who relies on these bars for their daily fuel. And leave a comment below, sharing which brand surprised you the most.